Welcome back to Cougar Chronicle. We're glad you're with us today.
They're very excited to do that as we get going with our very first guest of the day.
About this, I know it. It's great.
Very excited. We've got a lot, and we've talked about this a number of times. We've got a lot of really, really awesome things that are happening, things that are innovative.
Right.
You'll hear the term CTE, Career Technical Education. We live in this world of acronyms in schools, but if you see CTE, it's Career Technical Education.
Right.
Is what it comes down to. And for a lot of that, junior, senior age kids at the high school will go to Concord, to the Concord Technical Center. But we have a lot of innovation that's happening at our own Kearsarge Regional High School.
We do indeed.
And that is our first guest, Mr. Jesse Fenn. Hello, sir.
Hi,
how you doing?
Jesse.
Thanks for having me.
We're so excited to have you. So Jesse has been with us for a number of years. And
how many years? Because you've been
17.
Because he's been around since I was
17.
around, and
Okay.
so I was so happy to hear there was another, not old timer. You started when you were very, very young.
We call it the longevity people.
That's right. Exactly.
Well-aged.
Well-aged,
like
well-aged.
cheese.
Yeah, and great historical
Fine-aged.
knowledge, exactly, of the district and what our students and families need and want. And, right?
And Jesse obviously does a fantastic job at the high school with our
Yes.
kids. And we had the opportunity to really connect early. So and really kind of kindred spirits, because the technical end and those innovative practices and things are awesome. He's a bit of a smart aleck, as am I myself. I don't know if people knew that, but that happens. So we've got those things going on. Good banter.
We mesh very well, very well. Sometimes I show up, sometimes Superintendent Fortney shows up, and between the two of us, we get a full-time job.
Thing from there, but no, he's done a great job, and so wanted to get him in to talk about some things. One of the where we connected early on, and we talked about this earlier in the opening, is, and it's going to be a tough one. So, the airplane. So we at one point there are projects out there that schools have the ability to build all kinds of amazing things.
Right.
And Jesse and his students, along with Charles Langell, our high school principal, and I'm sure the school counselors involved, really tried to get into it where we were going to build a fully functioning airplane. And we were in the mix.
A real airplane, not a little model airplane.
Talk about that a little bit.
We were in the mix. We had this opportunity at the, I think it was October of 23. We got into it where we wrote a grant and we made a proposal to be part of an actual plane building program. And without getting into too many details, there was some schools that put it in, and you meet with a bunch of people, and it really is an actual airplane that you build from a kit. And it was going to be brought in so that our students would get real life experience. We're not just looking, okay, here's a model, let's just look at a book or a picture.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yes. Yeah.
Real life, hands-on, working with people from the community to come in who they have the experience, or they fly planes.
Sure.
And so it really kind of encompassed everything that we want to do. And working with our ELO program, myself, we wrote the proposal, we sent it in, we went through everything, we did a lot of meetings. We got extremely excited about it. Unfortunately, we didn't get chosen.
It's a little tough one.
That's
that was a tough news to get.
And what a good process, though, for the students, too, to go through and see and work.
Think about the idea that you get these kids that go, well, what did you do when you were in high school? Well, you know, I did service, or I did this. Jesse's kids were like, I built a plane.
Right, right.
Well, go from there.
And they're building something else.
But here's the thing. So we didn't get the plane. We were close.
Okay.
My understanding is that if they had two planes, we would have gotten a plane.
Correct.
We were that close. Like we were
number
that close.
two.
We were.
So close.
Let's not call it number two.
Okay.
Let's call it. We'll just say
We're very close.
We were
Very
there
close. There
We
we
don't
go.
want to give credence
That's
to anybody
right.
else
That's true.
because we're competitive, as we should be. So one of the things that I really admire about Jesse is he's stubborn, and he, like me, doesn't like being told no. So we pivot because that's what we have to do in education.
Right.
So what was the project? So we said, okay, the plane said no, but we got to build something. So I'm going to turn it over.
Plane said no. I said, not good enough. I want something. Students want something. Being someone who's been in the cars for my entire life, I'm familiar with couple different car companies, and one of them is called Factory 5 Racing out of Massachusetts. They build kit cars, or they build the kits, and they send you the kit.
Nice.
And so, why not a car? If we were looking at a plane, why not a car? And the idea of this one too is it would be, we put it together, again, kids get hands-on with it. It's not just, we looked at a lawnmower engine today. No, we're looking at a car from start to finish. Now it's not the same as we're gonna pull a car and tear it apart because it's all brand new, it's fresh. And it has the parts and it has the instructions. And it is simpler than building your everyday car. But the nice thing is it's a Factory 5 Shelby Cobra replica. So anybody that knows a Shelby Cobra, it looks just like a Shelby
Ooh.
Cobra. The big pitch, though, I had to say, okay, how am I going to get this passed? It's a big thing, and we have a very supportive school board. So knowing that going in, the support is there. They supported the plane program. They were excited about it. Let's get them excited about it, and also say, how about we self-fund it? And
Explain.
so my proposal included, through this process, I'm going to reach out to area people, businesses, people with their personal hands-on experience with cars and personal funding.
Gotcha.
The money won't come out of any taxpayer dollars. We're going to fund it 100% by donation, with the idea once this gets going, we build the car. When the car is complete, we sell it. It funds the next car build.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. That's huge.
Yeah, it's a whole different thought
Gotcha.
process. And that was with the airplane project. That was it was a competitive grant, and then you obviously had time and effort going in. And,
Right.
But with this situation, as within that creativity, is not taking no for an answer.
Right.
Well, then we'll do it ourselves, and then we'll find the money. And so,
I love that.
you know, that's the piece.
And Jesse, can I ask you educationally? I don't see anything wrong with starting with something new. For those folks students who are helping you who don't have that knowledge, they're getting to see every single component instead of tearing it apart. And
Exactly.
what am I tearing into? They'll see it from the ground up. Does that make
See
sense?
it from the ground up. It's a package that comes frame in a bunch of boxes. It's like a holiday. You get all these boxes and you open them up, and
Amazon
you
in my house.
unwrap them. And the great thing is you're doing everything from inventory, marketing, assembly, managing, and going into. When I first started at Kearsarge, I was a finance teacher. We're going to put some finances in there because we have this much money. We have to use it sparingly. We need a motor. We need a transmission. And all these different things have to happen for this to go together. So it's not just wrenching.
Right.
And if you're interested in coming in and working with the car build, but I don't want to wrench anything, great, because we have all these other opportunities within it.
Wonderful. So it's the broad spectrum,
Whole
not
thing,
just the
project
hands-on.
management,
Yes.
all of those things,
Oh,
because
I love
timing is
that.
everything. Because it's with it, you look at it like a set of Legos. You have a set of plans that you have to know when things need to be built, but there are things that need to have side assembly, and then how does those things get timed up? And it's just storage, inventory management. Where do we store stuff? How
That's
do we
right.
know? Because
That's right.
if you get 100 bolts, you need to make sure that we know where those 100 bolts
Yeah.
are, and we hang on to that stuff. And people laugh. They think, well, why can't you
true.
just hang on to 100 bolts? But when you're talking about thousands of pieces,
Absolutely. And how many students involved in the project, right? And that's
We've even started this year because we've had to look at our space.
right.
And I've had a couple of students involved. They've made 3D models. They've measured the space. How can we rearrange this space? And we've started that because we house a lot of things in the shop area where we want to do this.
That's awesome.
And
it's pretty exciting.
Boy, but I'd love to get in there and see it.
I
Isn't
know,
that
and-
exciting?
And when I've been out and about and talking to folks about some of the projects they're going, like, I wish I was back in high school.
Yes,
I'm like, well,
yes.
you can't necessarily be back in high school, but you can always be supportive of
Absolutely.
the project.
And there'll be days you can come down,
I
turn
was
a
going to
wrench.
say, you're going to have the superintendent in there more often than not, I think. You're
Well,
going to go ahead and show
the
that
problem
project.
is the superintendent's been trying to say that can we get a seat in it so that I can fit into a Shelby Cobra
Oh, stop
replica?
that.
Because
Stop
at the end of
that.
the day, I mean, and I get it built, but at the end of the day, we're talking about a fully functioning,
Isn't that
high performance car that
Yeah.
we're going to get it on a track.
I'm working on that part of it. It's going, I love to take,
so
I
I don't know if
track
you can do
cars.
that, but I'm giving you the directive online. We're
There's,
getting it on the
Aladdin.
track.
There's a lot of opportunity for that. And I believe I promised a couple school board members a ride too, or driving it. So
Wow.
I think that's a selling point. But yeah,
it's
it's full
just a great
scale. We're driving it. And
That's awesome. That is amazing.
And then you think about that, then that turns into something that becomes self-fulfilling. So then when we
Right.
talk about great traditions, so you've got kids that are like, you're going to have opportunity to do this. And it doesn't mean we're giving up on the airplane, because he's not going to, he carries a grudge like I do. So we're going to get those things.
if it comes back around, we'll take full advantage of it. But in the meantime,
exactly.
Let's build something.
let's build something. And
Right. Something amazing.
Yes.
Really.
it always says to me, it's like, what's the worst someone could say? No?
Right.
Okay, well, I'll come up with something else.
We'll find those
And
things
we
out.
just keep going.
So
Yes.
what else do we have happening in your classroom? Because I know the car and the projects have been great, but you've got all kinds of things going on in the classroom. So a kid is, we got questions sometimes from, what are my kids learning? So what are the things that kids get access to and get exposed to in your classroom? Real quick. Got a couple of minutes left to finish up this
exactly.
thing.
A couple of minutes, I'll sum it up real quick. What I try to do is they come in, and I'm not going to tell them what they're going to do. They're going to tell me what they'd like to create.
Okay.
And I'm going to show them how to create that, because it could be something as simple as a birdhouse. I said, well,
Okay.
instead of a birdhouse, how about a bird condo? Because I think a birdhouse is too simple.
Yeah.
So how about one for
Condo.
10 birds? Get a bird condo, you know? Adirondack chair, great, what do I do now? Well, how about a footrest?
Right.
And the idea is, you come to me with your project, and I show you the tools that you're going to need to make that project.
Oh, that's
Because if I have the two of you in class, you may be doing something completely different from each other. You may not use the same tools. There are
right.
too many tools and too many applications for everybody to learn the same thing. So you learn all the same basics, but then somebody may come out and use a lathe. Some others may not even look at it. So it gives them the opportunity to use the different things, the different tools, learn different applications, and create what they want to create with that. And then we turn over into the other side. One of the things we worked on, we were just finishing today, was putting the top, we rebuilt a four-wheeler motor.
Okay.
Huh.
And we did what's called the top end. We put a new piston in it, new rings, new gaskets. We reassembled it all. Ran out of time to start it today, but we heard it cranking over, and it sounds great.
Nice.
Next thing is to throw some gas in and see if it goes. So we're not just learning the basics. We're going in, and the students, I don't know how to do this. Well, let's find out.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's STEM and STEAM learning at its best, right?
Competency-based education, exploratory,
Right.
and you think about this. What's wrong with knowing how to build something or how to fix something as a
Absolutely.
life skill when you go into the world?
Absolutely.
Jesse,
Without
thank you
a
so
doubt.
much for being here,
Hold
brother.
on. One last question for you. You have a, no, I'm sorry.
She's like, we're
I have a minute left.
Okay.
Hey, tell us about, you have an exciting announcement.
So fundraising efforts, and you probably heard right now, we received our first donation. And hopefully that's the first of many coming in. And as you probably saw just before February break, the announcement of the car program, and we're really excited about it.
Yeah.
And we're hoping to see, as more announcements come about donations coming in,
Perfect.
we will let everybody know. We'll bring them to the school board. We'll put them out there on our social media.
It's going to be out there.
Just-
It's going to be
We're
awesome.
going to tell that story
Yeah,
big time.
yeah, a lot. Early and often,
Yes,
right?
As I go.
That's right.
Yeah. Good. Now I'll let you say
Can I
goodbye.
say
I'm
it now?
sorry.
All right. Brother, thank you so much for coming in. Absolutely. Just a
Thank
pleasure
you
to
for
work
being
with
here.
you every day. Thank you for everything you do for our kids and just for being a good human being. And what a great opportunity
Coming
to
up
have
on
you come
20
in.
years with you,
Come on,
Jesse. That's
20 years.
awesome.
Well, thank you for having me here.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to be here and to have the support that we have. And
That's
that wouldn't
awesome.
be here without our superintendent, our school board.
We appreciate
We got a
that.
lot of great things happening.
Yeah, and we're so glad. Thank you for being our first guest. Our second guest is coming up.
Coming up, that is going to be talking about PEAK, our paraeducators. And
It's
the
a
unit from there.
really
So,
important
yeah,
organization.
the
so.
hardest working group. Well, the
Without
hardest
a
working group.
doubt.
I don't want to say the hardest working group. 'Cause
One of, yeah.
If you're stuck dealing with me, you may be working pretty hard. But I will tell you, they are phenomenal, and we're going to tell that story.
Perfect. That's coming up here on